So I grew up in St. Luke AME Church. That's the same denomination of church where 9 people were killed in South Carolina. St. Luke is on Amsterdam Avenue in Harlem, in New York, and as you may know, that's a relatively poor area of town. And like a lot of churches, stewardship there focused on money. So St. Luke had quite a robust envelope package. There were envelopes for every Sunday. There were also envelopes for each envelope. You could select whether it was a tithe, whether it was an offering, whether it was a Thanksgiving. There were envelopes for Men's Day, Women's Day, Class Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, just about every other holiday you could think of. And in the back, they had a couple more envelopes that were called love offerings. And this is when a guest preacher would come. That would be their honorarium. So as I said, it's a pretty robust offering of envelopes. And in addition to that, there were raffles, there were sales, they sold food downstairs. This stewardship was about money. And it's ironic that that was the case in a relatively poor area of town. A couple of years after I was at St. Luke's, we got a new pastor, and he decided to challenge the congregation to support the church just on tithes and offerings. He wanted the church to become what he called a totally tithing church. So this meant you gave the first 10% of your income to the church. That meant pre-taxes, because of course everyone knows the government comes in and they take out their share first. And then during the offering, what we would do is actually everyone would get up, and they would come to the front. There would be a box in the front, and you would put your tithe and offering in there. So you would literally get up and bring your gift to God. And I watched a lot of people, including my mother, take on this challenge. My mother's gave about $4,000 a year on her income, which I think here would put her among the top 5 pledgers. I'm actually not advocating that we do that. I think that I don't think of stewardship as just money. But looking at what they did at St. Luke did teach me something about the relationship between stewardship and faith. And that's something that I want to talk about. Examples of faith and stewardship are recognizing that God has a role in your life, and so seeking a role in the church. It is the woman who's struggling to make ends meet, but she still gives what she can because she knows that God will take care of her. It's someone like Paul giving up a part of his body to his daughter because he knows that he has to make that kind of investment in her, and he trusts that God will take care of them both. It's this community supporting Paul and Charlotte, assembling in prayer to support them and lift them up. It's my mother who, God bless her, cannot carry a tune, but she still sings the hymns as loudly as she can because she believes that God has been a force in her life. It's the altar guild who comes in and prepares the table so that we as a community can give thanks. It's volunteers for coffee hour and lemonade on the lawn who give the community an opportunity to fellowship. It's Bruce, who, despite his injury, has worked hard to stay connected with us when he was at home, and has worked hard to get back into doing the things that he does to support us as a pastor. It's the people in the thrift shop who soldier on despite being understaffed because they know that God has called them to be faithful. It's people who work in the food kitchen, giving thanks for the food that's on their tables by cooking meals for other people. This kind of stewardship and faith has been very personal for me. As I mentioned, I grew up in a church, yet I always struggled to kind of find where my place was there. I heard more sermons than I'd care to recite about the demons of homosexuality. I grew up in a community where success was seemingly farther away than Pluto. And in college, while I still had faith in God, I struggled to see how God could possibly love me. And through that whole time, God sent people to me who were the very reflection of his love. That's why what I do here at Trinity is important to me. It may not seem like it because we do it every Sunday and the same people, but it's very powerful for me, and it's empowering that a community like this can let a gay black man stand here at the altar and participate in the mystery of the Eucharist. That I could be given the role to serve others and offer them the blood of Christ. That I could stand here and do the reading or lead the congregation in a confession of faith. For me, being a lem is the embodiment of power and love through service. It's that faith and stewardship in action together. And so I thank you that you've embraced God's call to love all people, so that all people can serve and be stewards of what God has given us. Thanks.